Hello, I'm Matt Evans, and welcome to Board Game Replay. Today we're going to be taking a look at Space Marine Adventures Labyrinth of the Necrons. This is a brand new board game from Games Workshop set in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. It is a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players, and it's a little different than what Games Workshop normally offers for products. Usually they sell miniatures games, Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Kill Team. Usually I don't want to say large scale, but much more complex miniatures games, with terrain and scenery and all kinds of stuff you have to go into. And those games themselves can be a hobby in themselves, essentially. Like they can be complex enough and deep enough that you can just play one of those games for years and years. But what's really cool to see is just a standalone board game that uses the theme of one of those games, Warhammer 40,000, and just makes a cool board game out of it. In this game, Space Marines are going to be going into these mazes filled with these Necrons, these bad guys, and they have to use their different special abilities in their war gear and eliminate these Necrons and find their way out of these labyrinths. And that's the basic idea of the game. And what's really cool too is they're also selling this in retail stores. This is a game that's available in Barnes & Noble right now here in the US. It's apparently going to be available at more retailers across the US. And even in the UK, I believe, or maybe Germany, I heard it had some of the GameStops there. So really cool to see this kind of hit more of a widespread distribution. So I thought about doing an overview for this game, and while I was giving an overview, I just figured it's simple enough to play, and it's kind of smooth and easy enough to explain as I go. I'm just going to show you playing a full adventure level of this game. There are 3 different adventure levels. I'm just going to be jumping in onto the second one. It's kind of a medium difficulty level, and I'll show you how it all plays. But before I do that, I'll jump into the box real quick and kind of show you what comes with it. All right, so looking inside the box here, on the top we've got the rule book, of course, and then the first thing we see are the 3 tiles. These tiles are double-sided, and these represent the labyrinths that you'll be fighting the Necrons on. Before you start a mission, you can choose any of these tiles and any side of these tiles to play on, so there's a little bit of variety in there. Here we have the pouch. This is what all the Necron tokens, these are all like the Necron enemy tokens. This is, you don't have miniatures for the Necrons because they all get shoveled into a bag and you draw them out of here randomly. So that's the token in the bag you draw them from. We've got some stair tiles. These stair tiles are the entrances and exits to the labyrinth where the Space Marines are going to enter and exit the dungeon, essentially. And here, obviously, you get the Space Marine minis here. I'll show a little bit more about how those come in the actual box. These are already assembled, but they're very easy to assemble. But these are actually Games Workshop, like highly detailed Space Marine miniatures, all with different gear. This guy's got a heavy bolter. I'll show a close-up of those again in just a little bit. But here you got the cards for all the different Space Marines. There's 5 total Space Marines, and you only play 4 of them per mission, but you always have a choice of one to pick. Then you've got the different Necron enemies that you're going to face. These are basically the bad guys, just as a reference for what the tokens mean. And these are activation cards. These all have the symbols of the different Space Marines and the Necrons on them, and this determines the turn order each round. You'll see more of that in just a little bit. And these are the war gear cards. This is the equipment that the Space Marines are going to be bringing in with them. Some of them are like, it says Warrior Born. This is like more of a personality trait for the guy, or like a family trait versus like frag grenades. All kinds of different equipment. Again, you'll see more of this in a little bit when I go to choose my gear. And that's it for the main cards. You've got a die for each of the Space Marines, and you've got 3 levels of this dungeon. These are basically the different difficulty levels. Each of these, they say do not open, but like that's just to, like before you read the rules, basically it tells you not to open it, and then tells you kind of the difficulty of each one. They all come with a little mission briefing card that tells you what the objective is, what you're going to be doing, and then a deck of Labyrinth cards. This is basically this kind of like the AI for the game, what's going to happen when Necrons activate, basically. Again, you'll see more of that stuff in a minute when I start playing the game. But there's a level 2 and a level 3, and then underneath level 3, there's actually an advanced deck. So once you've kind of figured the game out, maybe you find it a little easy, this advanced deck lets you kind of crank up the difficulty. Also, it includes rules for doing a campaign-style play, where you can actually link the missions together and kind of carry your story on between the three levels. So that's pretty much it. The last thing I want to show you here is I'll just go back and show you some footage of the Space Marines on the sprues. This is what they look like when they actually come in the box. Like I said, some very mild assembly. These actually don't even have to be cut out of these sprues. They're actually they can be just gently pushed out, and then all of these models fit together. You don't need glue to put them together. Though I will say I put a little bit of glue onto the head of one of the Space Marines. I couldn't get it to quite stay in there. When I turn it upside down, it would fall out. But for the most part, these things go together without any glue, and if you've never built a Game Workshop model before, it's not going to be a problem. And just real quick before I start, if you're actually not interested in watching the full gameplay here, if you want to just kind of skip to my final thoughts on the game, I'll put a link in the description below. You can jump right to it. All right, so here we are with the level 2 adventure just about set up here. I've got the level 2 card pack open and the level 2 mission briefing. I've done the level 1 a few times. I've actually done level 2 a couple of times, and there's just sort of minor differences mechanically in what you're doing, but like there's a little bit of theme on here. Trying to neutralize this Lynch Guard unit before I activate this control panel, and then I escape. So in order to finish setting up, I won't go through all of this, but basically I'll tell you the main objective once we get going here. But I'm going to take a die first, and I'm going to use that. I got a 6. So that means I'm going to place this special Lynch Guard, which is like kind of one of the stronger units here, and he's going to go on spawn point 6. There's actually a different name for those. I'll get it to you in just a minute when I remember it. So that's where the Lynch Guard goes, and then after that, you take one of these Necron warriors, and you place them on every one of the other translocation spaces, I believe is what they're called. And so I place one of those in every one of them, and then I take all the rest of these figures, tokens, whatever they are, and you shuffle them back into this bag, and that's where I'm going to draw the enemies from throughout the game, is throughout this bag. So that can be set aside. Now I've got my Space Marines here. I've already chosen an entrance, but basically you can choose any of these open spaces. You can choose any of the 3 tiles and any side of those 3 tiles for each adventure, so you're not locked to a particular one. I've chose this tile, and I've got the stairway heading into it at this entrance, which means I then take these portal tokens. There's 3 of them. I shuffle them up, and on the back side of one of them is an opening, and that represents the exit to this. So for this mission, I have to get these Space Marines in here. They have to destroy this Lynch Guard. Once they do that, they can go to this control panel, use an action to roll a die. If they roll a 6, the control panel is opened, and then I'll flip these tokens to figure out which one is the stairway out. And then once I do that, let's say hypothetically it's this one, I would then place this here, and then all of the Space Marines have to file out this door, and the more of them I get out, the better victory condition I get. So you want to try to get all of them out, but if I get less than that, I get sort of like minor victories and draws, and eventually you fail if you don't get at least 2 of them out. So that's what we're doing here, and the last thing to do before we start is to draw some war gear for these guys. So I'm bringing only 4 of the 5 Space Marines on this adventure. You only ever bring 4 out of the 5 Space Marines. So you have some choices every time you go into it. But I've chosen these 4, and I'm going to draw 8 pieces of war gear. 4, 6, 7, 8. And there's a pretty good sized deck of this. Like war gear, I think it's like 28 or so. So it's a good amount. A little variety, and you kind of mix up each game. So I'm going to take one of these, of all these 8 here. I can already see some that I kind of want to take. A lot of these can be used generally on any of these Space Marines, but some of them are special in that they require to be used on certain Space Marines. So this one here, this Anvil of Strength, can only be given to Brother Infernus, which is this guy here. And I find that these are typically, they're better. If you can play to the strengths of one of these guys, it makes more sense. And then just going through here, you can see the art and like flavor on each of these cards is excellent. But yeah, it's a pretty light game, but you see like they really go all out with the theme in this, which I love. So I'm going to look through these, take a second to do that, and then I'm going to come back to you once I've made my choices. All right, so this is the war gear I've chosen. I've got 2 pieces of war gear that are actually specific to those Space Marines. I've got this bolter drill on Brother Grimm, which says that when he plays it until the end of his turn, he can't move at all, but he can re-roll any failed dice, which is a great way to make sure you take out some very key Necrons in a turn. And I did go with Anvil of Strength as well. This guy can basically perform a free attack action against each Necron that's in a square adjacent to him and add 3 to the dice. So there's a lot of times in this game where you'll really have your back to the wall and you'll be surrounded and you need to get some major kills. I think these two cards are definitely going to help me with that. And the crack grenade as well, down here for Brother Gabriel. This crack grenade lets me pick a Necron within 4 squares, roll a die on an A2 or more. It's destroyed regardless of its strength, which is resilience, which is what these numbers are here. So the characters of the different models here, they all work the same way, but they all have a resilience value, and you need to roll it on the dice when you make an attack to kill them. So that's a great one. And then this last one, and they shall know no fear. That's like the Space Marine like thing. That's like the code. You can use it anytime during a Space Marine's turn. They just get 2 free actions. So sort of a generalist ability for that guy, getting 2 extra actions, but it could be useful in a ton of different situations. So now we're ready to go, and we've got a deck here that is already shuffled up. Well, I'll just show you this way. It's got 2 activation cards for each Space Marine that I'm bringing along, and a total of 4 Necron activations. And this is going to determine the turn order for every round. So I'm going to shuffle this up again, and we can begin. All right, so now for the first turn, we're going to flip the top card of the deck. And we have a Necron activation right off the bat. So we draw the top Labyrinth card whenever that happens. And this one says, there's a little bit of flavor on there, but it says Necron reinforcements. Strange green lightning crackles and leaps, opening a portal from another part of the Labyrinth. And place a Necron minion counter on translocation square number 2. So that means I have to spawn new Necrons up here. But this is kind of the way the AI works in the game. Is the AI doesn't ever really move or attack you. They just spawn like crazy and end up overrunning you from spawns. So whenever you go to spawn something and there's already a Necron on that space, you have to place one, you draw from the bag on each adjacent space, or orthogonally adjacent space. So now I've just spawned 2 additional Necrons up there. So a lot of the game's strategy is to keep these spawn points clear as often as you can, kind of making a big effort to do that because it really reduces how cluttered the dungeon gets. And if a Necron is going to spawn and there's a Space Marine on that space, whether on the initial translocation space or on one of the overflow spaces that you're placing on, if you're to spawn and the Space Marine's there, you won't spawn that token, but instead the Space Marine will just become wounded. And once a Space Marine has been wounded 2 times, they die in the route. So you really want to try to be careful when getting around those spawn points. All right, so that's 1 Necron activation is done. Now we have, up next is Sergeant Cassius. So on a Space Marine turn, there are essentially 2 actions. Some of these War Gear will give them additional actions, but basically he has 4 actions to take. That means he can do like a movement and attack. Mostly movement and attack. So what I'm going to do first is move 1, 2. That's 2 actions for me to do that. And then since I have 2 actions left, I want to attack this Necron warrior in this space here. He is 1 space away from me on the diagonal here, from center square to center of the square. He's 1 range away, which means he's adjacent, so I can attack him with my special ability, which says, it's my chainsword. I get +1 to any dice rolls that he makes while he's adjacent to a Necron. So this is a Necron warrior, so its resilience value is 3. You need to roll equal to or greater than the Necron's resilience value to kill it, and I also get a +1. So a 2 or better will kill this Necron warrior. And I've got a 6, so that is a dead Necron warrior. This actually gets shuffled back into the bag right away. Just going to put it aside for right now. And I have 1 action left, and I'll use that to move 1 more space. All right, so that was a pretty good turn, starting things off. Another Necron activation. Same thing, Necron reinforcements, but we're going to do on translocation square number 6. So I'm going to put this back in the bag, shuffle it all around. And then down here on 6, 6 is also occupied. All the spaces start that way. And we're going to place 2 new randomly drawn Necrons over there. Oof! 2 really strong lynch guards right next to each other. That'll be fun. Okay, another Necron activation. We will draw another one of these. Oh, man, this is hurting. So we're going to go to spawn point number 4, which again, we're going to get flooded with these things because it's the beginning of the game. But on the, see 2 there and then 1 over there. But on the good part about that, though, is that I'm also getting, I've done 3 of the 4 Necron turns at this point, so I'm going to have a lot of Space Marine turns all in a row. It might help me to kind of do something about this. All right, so now we've got Brother Gabriel up next, and he has a special ability that he's got an Auspex scanner. So during each of his turns, he can just passively flip the top card of the Labyrinth deck and look at it. So this says it's another reinforcement, and it's on number 5. So I know that they're going to be spawning here on number 5. Can't really do a lot about that now, but it is good to have that information. I'll keep that face up like that just so I know it's coming. And then I get to take 4 actions with Brother Gabriel. I think I'm just going to try to move out of here as best I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, and end up right there. And another activation for Brother Gabriel. That's actually pretty good because these guys are a little slow. Where do I want him to end up? You never really want to stop on these spawn points either because obviously you draw 1 reinforcement card and it's an instant wound. So you have to be careful about your positioning. So I think I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to shoot down the hallway here at this. Oh, as a matter of fact, you know what I can do from there? Now that I'm standing on this space, I can actually shoot at this Necron warrior here who's on top of a spawn point. What have we drawn so far? We've seen a 2, we've seen a 6, we've seen a 4. We haven't seen a 3 yet. I'm going to shoot at that 3. So I'm going to roll for this. Again, resilience value of 3. It's a cock die. I got to re-roll it. And that's a 5. He's dead. And whenever you kill it, right back in the bag. And that is the end of Brother Gabriel's turn. Next, we have Sergeant Cassius again. This is probably a good turn here. Now, here's a good example here. I can actually fire straight down the hall. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That Necron is 4 spaces away. I have a range of 4. I can just roll an attack die straight down the hallway at it, and you ignore line of sight. For line of sight, you ignore other Space Marines. They're presumed to be ducking or moving out of the way for your gunfire. So I can fire down the hall at that, but I also want to get out of the way so some of these other Space Marines can get in here. So I think what I'm going to do is go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to use my chainsword on this Necron right here. So I get a +1, so a 2 or better will kill him. Got it. All right, great. Next turn. All right, now we've got Brother in Furnace. He is going to move 1, 2, and I am not going to stop on that spawn point number 1. It's just not worth the risk. So I'll stop there. This is a tough corner to come in. I don't know why I chose this one. Now we've got Brother Grimm to take an activation. We'll just go 1, 2, 3. It's his whole turn because they only have 3 actions each. Let's get these guys in here a little bit further. Here we go. This is what I need. I am going to have... Another 2 would be bad, though. I'm going to have him go 1, 2, and stop right there. Because, again, I don't want to get him too close in here because one more spawn here. Well, no, actually, I think that's going to be done there. I think I might have him do that. 1, 2, and 3. And land right here. He's pretty safe from spawning happening here because you only spawn like in a line, like orthogonally adjacent. So he's actually pretty good there from being overrun. We got a Necron activation, which we knew was going to spawn on 5. This goes in the bag. So things are getting a little crazy. We need some special moves. Okay, that was them. And now last is Brother Grimm. He's going to step in 1 space here, and he's going to fire down the hallway. Again, he's got a range of 8, and he's got 3 actions, so his second action will be to fire, and his special ability with his Heavy Bolter, he gets +1 to the die rolls when he attacks a Necron that's not adjacent to him. So you roll a 5, that's technically a 6, that's enough to kill the Necron Immortal. And he has 1 more action, he's just going to forfeit that action to not be killed by a spawn point, potentially. So now it's the end of the round. We reshuffle this and we keep going. I don't know how I'm doing right now. I think I'm doing all right. We'll see. I kind of got trapped in that doorway. That corner was brutal. I should have thought about that, bringing so many slow Space Marines. Here we go. All right, Brother Grimm's up first. Of course he is. He's my slowest guy, and he's in the back. I will move him 1, 2 to right here and just park him. Next turn, Necron activation. Spawn point number 1. Look at that. I feel somewhat justified in my actions. I didn't stop on that space, and now because of that, I'm not wounded. So put 1 right there. All right. Brother Grimm. All right. Your turn, bud. Except he doesn't get his bonus because he's directly adjacent to that stupid thing. I think I'm going to take a risk and leave that there and let someone else who's a little bit better at dealing with that deal with that. I'll go 1, 2, and fire down. Oh, yeah. I think that's what I'll do. And I'll fire at that Necron there, again, getting a +1. It's the one thing he would roll that he wouldn't kill it with. All right, another Necron activation. Uh-oh. This says Chronofield. The next Space Marine who has a turn, whether it's in this round or the next, misses their turn. I'll just keep this to the side because the next Space Marine I flip. Brother in Furnace does not get a turn this round, and this gets discarded. And Necron activation, number 5. Things are getting ugly. So here's a good example of what happens when you go, I can't spawn here, I can't spawn here, I can't spawn here, so I'm going to just keep going. Spawn everything to this side, and you stop on any of these portals. But then all the way down here, I spawn all the way there. So it gets crazy really quickly. Ooh, another Necron activation. Sweet. So this will spawn one behind me, thankfully. It's not going to kill any of my guys. I've been dodging that. But yeah, the difficulty really ramps up here very quickly. And I'm going to start needing to use some of these special abilities soon, or else I'm going to be toast. All right, we got Brother Gabriel going, so I'm going to peek at the top card, which is going to be a 3. So I'm going to have potential wound here happening right next to me. And but thankfully, I think I can draw this line from one hex to this hex. Maybe I'm playing this wrong, but I've got center of this hex, drawn a straight line to this lynch guard down here. I think this is... Oh, no. I can't use my crack grenade. It says... Pick a Necron within 4 squares of the Space Marine in a straight line from him. This is not a straight line, it's a diagonal line. But I think I'm going to try to take that shot anyway. Because if I don't kill this guy and we pull another Necron activation, which how many have there been at this point? Oh, we've actually activated all 4 Necrons already. And we've got... The rest are just Space Marines. So I actually don't need to prioritize that. I'm going to use Brother Gabriel to kill this guy that's right next to him. He's going to roll and going for a 4 or better. Didn't get it. 1 action. 2 actions. 3 actions. Seriously? Cocked. Duh. No good. No good. So, next character is going to go. It will be Sergeant Cassius. Sergeant Cassius is going to take on this Lynch Guard so hard. This Lynch Guard needs a 5 or better, but with this Chain Sword, because he's adjacent, he gets +1, so we need a 4 or better. There it is. 5 to wipe him out. Needed that. So that was 1 action, and then it will be 2, 3, and then he's going to take a shot down the hall, maybe hope for a 5 or better. No good. Just got to get down there and kill this Lynch Guard so we can get to that control panel. That's really important. All right. Oh, I'm going to put the die in the bag. All right. Next, another Sergeant Cassius turn. What do I want to do here? I think first and foremost, I'm going to melee attack this Necron Warrior. That's what I just rolled, even though I needed a 2 or better. 2 actions. Now he's dead. That's 2 actions. I'll shoot down here to this Necron Lynch Guard. Got him, because I need a 5 or better. It's no longer a melee attack. So that was actually a decent turn. And then I've got 1 more shot. I'll take it. And that was another 5, if you can believe it. Both dead. Yeah, that was a really good turn for him. All right, we got Brother Gabriel again, who's going to go. I think I'm going to have him take a shot at this guy again. I have to. 3. Come on. Really? Dude, 2 full actions wasted on that one dude, and I need him to die. That's a bummer. I guess I could have used the crack grenade, but that just seems wasteful at this point. Now we're going to use Brother Infernus. He's going to step it up, and I'm going to have him shoot back at this guy just because it's too risky having him be there. You know, I got to turn around thematic here. There it is. Boom. First shot. And here we go. Here's the funny part. This one's dead. But whenever Brother Infernus rolls a 6, every Necron in an adjacent square is also killed. So that did absolutely nothing in that position. Whoops, issue here. That did absolutely nothing in that position because there was no adjacent Necrons. If he had hit this one, it would have killed this one, and so on and so forth. If I shot this guy, it would have killed them both. Whatever. But still, a decent turn on his first shot. Now I'll turn it back around. He's going to shoot again to... I'm pretty sure I can shoot from here to here since I'm technically adjacent to both these spaces. You know, asterisks on that if I can't quite do that, but I think I can. So I'll roll a whopping 2 and get nothing out of that, and then I'm rolling 1 more time. And I got a 5, so I will kill this one. Not 100% sure on that one, but I'll put a little note in the comments of this video or up in the corner here if there's a rule violation there that I need to be aware of. So, all right, that was it for him. That's the end of the round again. We keep it going. All right, here we go. Sergeant Cassius is up again. I'm going to have him, now that he's killed that main Lynch Guard, I can go and try to activate that control panel. So that's what I'm going to do with him. That's like his main job. But while I'm at it, I might go 1, 2 to shoot down the hall. He rolled a 6, so that's going to kill this one. Get him off the spawn point, you know, like stop making them spawn. And then 3 to go here, and then 4, I'm going to chainsaw this guy right here. So I need a 2 or better. And another 6. I'm wasting all my 6 rolls here. And again, another really solid turn for Sergeant Cassius. Necron activation, we already know what that's going to be. We're going to spawn on point number 3. And next activation is Brother Gabriel. So we get to peek at this card. Ooh. Okay, so this is an enhanced invasion beam. This means we're going to spawn on 4, 5, and 6. Yeah. But it is in that order, 4, 5, and then 6. It has not come up yet. It's just he knows what's coming soon. 4, 5, and 6. So it would be great to clear off 5, but knowing that 6 is also going to spawn soon means I need to be careful. What can I do to slow this down a little bit? I think I'm going to shoot at this Necron warrior that's directly in front of me. I got a 5, so he's dead. I'm also going to take a shot at this warrior down here. And got him with 4, so that's good. And then I think with my last 2 actions, I'm going to pop up just like that. Get ready to fire down that hallway, or am I? You know what? I think I'm going to stay where I was. Move down just like that. Just to let Brother Infernus kind of get a chance to blast down that hallway. And okay. Up next, Necron activation. And there it is. 4, 5, and 6 in that order. So 4 we've already cleared out, so that's good. And then 5 we have not. So that goes there. And then 6 is going to go right in front of me there. Oops, forgot to put that one in. And that's it for that one. Oof. Number 5 again. Wow. Yeah, I'm really glad I didn't put that Brother Gabriel up there, because he would have been wounded as of right now. Good Lord. This is rough. All right, we've got Sergeant Cassius, first thing, rolling here at this Necron warrior. 2 or better. Of course, he rolls a 1. He's got him with that, so that's 2 actions, and then 3, 4. I need to stand on the control panel to be able to try and crack it, so I haven't done that yet. Brother Gabriel again, taking a peek at the card. It's a 3, so right in front of him here. What can I do for this next turn? I could roll a crack grenade. 1, 2, 3, and then crack grenade that guy. That would get him off that space before a spawn. Man, I don't know. I want to make him do something useful right now. Yeah, I think I might do that just because I don't know what's coming up. I'll have him go 1, 2, 3, and then he's going to use his crack grenade to throw here. He needs a 2 or better. Ooh, I saw 1 there for a second. This guy's dead, regardless of his resilience, so that's great, as long as it was 2 or better. Crack grenade is now discard. All your war gear is only once per game. And that's it for his turn. Brother Grimm finally gets to do something on his turn. He's going to first shoot at that Necron warrior at the end of the hallway. He needs, again, a 2 or better, because he's got a +1 in his ranged attacks. Boy, what else is he going to do? I think that he's going to move 1, 2, and then he's adjacent to both these guys, so he's not getting any advantages, but he's going to shoot at this Necron Immortal to his right, so he needs a 4 or better. And he's got it with a 5. Kill this one. Cool. All right, next we will... All right, Brother Infernus. He has got to... Yeah, this is a great time to use this Anvil of Strength. I'm in a really bad spot. Play this card anytime during his turn. Infernus immediately performs a free attack action against each Necron that is in a square adjacent to him, adding 3 to each roll. He has 2 Lynch Guards next to him, which are the strongest characters in the game right now. He needs to roll this. So I'm going to spend this. So these are 2 actions. He gets +3 to these. So I need to roll a 2 or better. Are you kidding me? That was 1 free action. 2 free actions. So I killed this one. So I was basically saying I was shooting at that one first, then shooting at this one second. So that was totally free. Now after I do that, I still have 3 more actions because that was just 1. That wasn't even 1 action. It was just a generic one. So 5. He's got him. Great. That was 1 action actually spent, and then I'll just do 2 to walk up here, and then he's done. I'll take his turn ending right there. That wasn't bad. I would have liked to do a little bit more with my needing a 2 or better rolls, but it's all right. All right, Brother Grimm, this is where you shine, buddy. He's going to step in 1, and then he's going to fire 1, 2 shots down the hall. The first target hitting on a 2 or better, he's got him. And the next one in line, and he's got him. So these 2 are dead. We're cleaning up this place now. This is good. Necron spawns. Going to spawn on 3 like we had seen, we had anticipated. And next we have Brother Infernus getting an activation. Boy, I don't think I want to go too far with him. I might have him just move. I don't like this is like one of those rare times where I don't want to actually activate him, but I also don't want to leave him in the open. I'll have him go 1, 2, 3 and head sort of down this way. All right, end of the round again, reshuffling. First thing we do, Necron activation. Necron reinforcements on spawn point number 2, so right behind my guys here. Important note too, whenever this deck runs out, this Labyrinth deck, the game also ends and I lose, so we want to try to beat that as best we can. So you can't just waste all the time. You got to keep moving. All right, so one action here, and then he's going to roll 3 times, trying to get a 6. Look at that, 6 on the first roll. Sergeant Cassius knows what he's doing here with control panels. So now we will flip these over, figure out which one is the exit. It is this one. The other one, as you can see there, the same thing on both sides. So now this is going to become our exit. I'll move these guys up here a little bit. And we will put the exit down like that. So now I have to get all the Space Marines out, lined up on that stairwell, and we win. That's how you win the mission, at least the level 2 mission here. So we will, so this is first action. There's 1, 2 actions, and he's going to do 3 to move here, and then he's going to be done. Necron activation. Chrono Field. Next Space Marine loses their turn. Sergeant Cassius loses his turn. Necron activation. Uh-oh. These are some new cards here. Reanimation protocols. Until the end of the next round, the resilience of all Necron warriors, which are the weakest ones, they are now a 4. I'm going to place this card next to the board just as a reminder that it's still in play, and it's there for the rest of the round. All right, Brother Grimm is going to, boy, he wants to, maybe he's going to move a little bit. He'll move 1 space here to fire down the hallway at, or he's going to turn around and fire at this number 2 here. Getting +1, so he needs a, what's it, a 3 or better now, because these guys are boosted this round. Normally that would kill them. It does not now. He has moved once, fired once. He's got 1 more shot. There it is, a 6 to kill this guy off the spawn point, which is what I wanted to do. Next card, Necron activation. Spawning on point number 4. Warrior there. All right, and next, Brother Gabriel. Flipping over the next card, he has a 2. Well, he doesn't have a 2. That's where their next going to spawn is on number 2, which is clear, so that's good. And he has 4 actions to use. I think he's going to just use 1 action to shoot this Necron that's adjacent to him. He's got him dead. 1, and I think he's going to shoot, well, yeah. He did get a 5. He still killed him. He needed a 4 or better on this one. He's then going to shoot at the Necron Immortal. He needs a 4 or better. He's got a 6. Wow, man, I'm rolling really well. And then boop, boop, just like that. Whew, my luck has turned around in this game for sure. All right, now we've got Brother Infernus. What is he going to do to make his way up there? I think he'll just move up. He's not going to stop on a spawn point. I'll have him go 1, 2 is going to be to fire at this guy. He does not have him. And then 3, he'll shoot again. Does not have him. Another activation, shooting again. He's got a 4, which is enough to kill him. That technically bounced off the other die, but I'll allow it. It wasn't cocked. And then he'll use the next one to move like that. And then forfeit the last action. Brother Grimm is going to fire first at this guy, and he needs again a 3 or better. Does not have it. Shooting again. He's got him. Okay, and the next activation is Brother Gabriel. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Start making his way out. Shuffling up again. All right. Necron activation is a 2. Go there, and this is now the end of the round, so this reanimation protocols can go away. All right, Sergeant Cassius, 1, 2, 3, 4, right up to there. Brother Grimm, excuse me, he's going to go 1, 2, and then take a shot back here because he's got range 8. And he rolled a 4. Ooh, I'm feeling good about this. Brother Gabriel's going to take a peek here. Number 6 is the next spawn point, and then he's just going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to hang out right in the back of the stairwell. We're going to activate again number 6, which is down here. Feeling pretty good about this. I think we got ahead of it. Brother Gabriel again. Doesn't do anything. I guess he could, on his turn, he could peek. Might as well, right? So we know number 1's coming up next. Brother Grimm. 1, 2. Oh, I almost don't want to leave yet. Well, I can still go here. I can still shoot through him at aliens, at the Necrons if they show up with my bolter drill. Necrons are going to activate on spawn point number 1. Sergeant Cassius. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another reinforcement on spawn point number 1. So this is where, like, if this had happened on maybe 4 or one of these other ones, it could be really, real bad for me. So here, here, and here. Let's see if we can do this here. Brother Infernus. Just going to move up to here. Not going to dare stand on the spawn point. And Infernus again. Oh, I should have known that his car was next, but I'm really not allowed to look. So then I'll go 1, 2, and 3. So we are very close to being able to pull this off. All right, so new round. Necrons right away. All right, Invasion Beam. Place 1 Necron minion counter on translocation square 1, and then place 1 on 5. So 1 and 5. So again, I got to really hope we don't get another 5 activation coming out here. But then 1 is doing this. Yeah, that's what 1 does. Brother Infernus, perfect. 1, 2, 3. He's good back there. And you guys can scooch back 1 space. That'll be his turn. Why didn't I shoot that alien before I ran? Oh, what is this? Reanimation protocols. Oh, lynch guards are now all 6s. So I need a 6 to kill any lynch guards on the board. I don't have any, which is good. So that's positive. Brother Grimm. Slide back 1. Necron activation. Scarab Swarm. Until the end of the next round, all Space Marines are able to perform 1 less action than normal. Place this face up as a reminder. All right. And there he is. Boom, boom, boom. I'm out. All 4 Space Marines alive. No wounds. That was a pretty solid game. Kind of crushed that one towards the end. Started off a little rough. And you can even see how, like, if these spawn points had happened on either 4 or 5, you get that swarm on you, you really get overwhelmed quickly. And so I got a couple of really strong rolls here, and I wasn't afraid. I think it's a really good idea to not be afraid to use your war gear, because that, like, you don't want to save it until I'm really in a bad way. But like, if you were in one of these spots, you really do become overwhelmed very quickly. So being able to use these fast is a really great idea. This one wasn't super tough. I've done this one before 2 or 3 times, and it was a little bit closer. I had almost been overrun. I had a guy get wounded. I had to use, where's the war gear here? There's a special war gear for, whoops, other way around. The war gear for the Narthecium, the healing gun, essentially. If you have a wounded Space Marine, you can use this on them and heal them, turn them back over to healthy. I've had to use these in games before. A lot of these extra speed bonuses I've had to use before, but there's a lot of variety in these, and sometimes this gear could be situational. Red Thirst was a really fun one for the Blood Angel guy, for Brother Gabriel, where he just goes crazy. His range is reduced to 1, but he gets +1 to all die rolls when he attacks, and he gets immediately to like move and attack again after he does it. So it's pretty fun. Like, this war gear really changes up the way the game is played. So that was Adventure Level 2. Again, the variability of the difficulty can fluctuate. There's a bit of there's some luck here. It can go either way, right? You can get a lot of really bad spawns that overwhelm you. But I kind of like that. I like the variability. I like that I don't always know that I'm going to be able to just always beat Level 2 because it's easy. Or even Level 1, you could become overwhelmed and you could lose to it. But something I do like is that, so first of all, there's also a Level 3. This is Level 2. We can go on to Level 3, which is a slightly harder version. Again, it has its own Labyrinth deck for that. You can see the differences on the back, 3 versus 2. And there's more of these mixed in cards, more of these enhanced invasion beams and things like that mixed in here. I guess I'm kind of spoiling this a little bit if you wanted to go into this fresh, but I won't talk about it too much. But yeah, there's a level 3 adventure that you can go on. So there's 3 sort of standalone adventures with different difficulties kind of slowly increasing. And then there's an advanced deck. And again, I won't spoil too much of this, but basically there's alternate rules for each of the initial 3 missions and to play them as a campaign, right? To link them one after the other. So if I was playing this as a campaign, I would have done really well. I've got all my guys alive. I didn't lose anyone. I've got some war gear left over. And then these are some special rules for playing the game as a campaign, which is really great. And then again, more advanced stuff to mix into the deck, bad things that come out, more powerful monsters, essentially like almost making them more like boss-like. And again, more difficult things to be shuffled into the various decks. You've got your level 3 deck, level 2 deck, and that kind of stuff. So, all right, so that's Space Marine Adventures. All right, so that's how the game plays. I hope you enjoyed it, and I gotta say, I'm just really impressed by this game. It's nothing crazy, it's nothing super fancy, it's not the best co-op I've ever played, but for something I can quickly pick up and run through a solo game, I really enjoy it. I love that it's a simple co-op game, but also really does a good job of mixing in the theme, right? Like I'm playing as Sergeant Cassius, I've got a big chainsword, and I'm getting bonuses to melee attacks. That's cool. When he starts getting some of his special war gear that's just for him, or Brother Gabriel gets his red thirst because he's a blood angel, and that crazy red thirst goes crazy. Like, that's super fun when that happens in a game. And even though it's mechanically really simple and straightforward, it still feels fun to play. It still feels fun to use your red thirst ability in the middle of a match, or playing as Brother Grimm and blasting a heavy bolter down a hallway and getting all kinds of bonuses to attacks, and mowing down 3 and 4 guys in a row. So yeah. Again, I've played this mostly solo, and I've enjoyed it solo quite a bit. I played it co-op a couple of times, and I've only played it like 2 players in co-op. I think that's personally for me probably about as many as I would want to play, just because of sort of the lightness of the game. I wouldn't want to have 4 people all taking, like, your turns are really quick, right? In some turns with a Brother and Furnace with only 3 actions, you might just move 1, 2, 3 spaces and be done. So I think I really enjoyed it as just a 1 or 2 player co-op style game personally. And now that I've played it a few times, 5, 6 times, I want to start mixing in those advanced rules and just kind of crank up the difficulty a little bit and make it feel more like the old Space Hulk card game that was just brutally difficult. This is kind of nice because it's in between that, right? I can play this, I can not get totally slaughtered, and it's somewhere in the middle of those 2 games difficulty-wise. So anyway, that's Space Marine Adventures. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you again next time.